Welcome to the Hair, Babes and Business podcast. My name is Jess and I am your host. I have over 14 years of experience in the hair industry and have owned and successfully fully booked out 2 of my own hair salons. And now I'm taking a step back from being behind the chair to be here with you instead, teaching you all of the skills, knowledge and advice that I've learned along the way. I want to teach you everything that I've learned so that you can learn from my mistakes and don't have to learn these lessons the hard way. Every week I bring out new episodes for you where I tackle industry issues, talk about what's trending and what's not, share business insight, bring on different guest speakers with different levels and areas of expertise within the industry, and figure out ways that we can make our businesses successful and profitable. I'm so excited you've decided to join me today. Let's get into it. Hello guys and welcome back to this week's episode of the Hair Babes and Business podcast. My name is Jess and I am your host, and today I'm so excited to bring you a very special interview that I did with Courtney, the owner of Peaches Creme Hair in Queensland. Courtney's story is one of so much inspiration and success, and I'm so excited to share this interview with you because I think Courtney has a really motivational, inspirational story to share with you. Whether you're thinking about going into business, have just started a business, or even if you just want to hear a really motivating, inspiring story of what it's like to find success in this industry, I think you're going to find today's episode really interesting, really helpful, and just really inspiring. I feel like it's just a really feel-good story, and I am here for that. So without further ado, let's jump into today's episode. I can't wait for you guys to hear Courtney's story, and I just want to thank Courtney so much for sharing her story with us and sharing her words of wisdom, because I think there is a lot to learn from Courtney's success and journey. Let's get into it.
All right. Well, welcome to the podcast. Do you want to tell the listeners a little bit about who you are and your story?
So my name is Courtney and I am the owner of Peaches Creme Hair Design in Queensland.
Amazing. So tell me about your journey to owning your own salon.
Okay, so in a nutshell, so I have been hairdressing or in the industry as well for 11 years. Pretty much it was about 2 years ago I realized that I was kind of losing my passion a little bit and I felt like I needed a bit of a change. I did actually go into another industry but realized I missed hair way too much. So I stopped that. Well, I actually went back to part-time. So that was a completely different industry. That was fitness industry as well. But I went back part-time and realized, I missed hair too much. My fiance as well could see it. Every time I came home, he was like, you're just different. Like, you've missed hair. I can see it. So he just asked me, well, what do you want to do? And I said, I don't know. I like working on my own. I'm not sure. And he goes, well, why don't you have you ever thought about opening your own salon? And I said, yeah, it's always been a dream, like absolute dream. But he goes, well, then why don't you do it? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. It's always been a dream. I didn't think I could do that. And, he said, I've got you, like, I'll back you. We can do this. So yeah, pretty much from like just straight into it. We started opening. We bought everything from scratch and fitted out a whole salon. And did the whole fit out ourselves. I was operating out of there for a couple of months and everything was smooth. I actually took over his lease of a supplement store that he had, and he had 2 years left on it. So we were like, that's a perfect way to start a salon. Like I can just build my name up and start from there. So and we asked the real estate. The real estate said, yep, no worries, that's fine. And we just went ahead and did it. Fit out the salon, was operating for a couple of months, no problem, until the owners of the building were in town. It was actually the day they saw the salon was the day I put my signage up, the complete signage. So that was horrible timing, but they said, oh no, you can't open here. This isn't zoned for a service, hair salon, beauty, whatever. It's zoned for a supplement store. That's what it was for. Like, that's what the agreement was. That was definitely our fault because we just trusted the real estate and just said, oh, yep, that's a go ahead. nothing in writing, just did it. Obviously, we've learnt from our mistakes there. So yeah, it was hard because I had already had clients booked in. Everything I thought my dream was coming true. So it was find somewhere straight away. Just we gotta get it, we gotta do it all over again. So yeah, I found this beautiful place that we're sitting in and pretty much just went and did the whole process again, fitted out an entire place. This place, especially, it hadn't been leased for 5 years. It had no earthing, no safety switches, no electricity hooked up, connected. It was just, yeah, it was definitely a challenge. Everyone thought my fiance and I were absolutely out of our minds to do it. But he looked at it and goes, no, like it's got potential. It's got good bones. We can do that, But he's amazing. So we did it. We were still working both of our day jobs and then used to come back here when we got signed it all, and we actually signed this one, full documentation. And then yeah, started moving in, went painted the walls till 1 a.m. in the morning, built walls in here, and yeah, then now I'm running a salon on my own and I actually am living my dream.
That is absolutely amazing. And it's so amazing to hear like everything you've overcome to get to the point of actually living your dream as well.
Yeah.
I have so many questions about your story. So I think the first thing I wanted to talk about is you saying about, like it was our fault because we didn't know about the lease and you trusted the landlord. But I think so many people would make that same mistake, especially when you're going into like your first building. I think a lot of people would just trust the landlord, like whether they say like, yeah, you can use this building for this or not, would just be like, oh, okay, that's gospel. Like that's what I can do. And I think that's a really big lesson for people who are going into the industry and wanting to open their own businesses, to learn that like there's actually a lot of other checks you have to do to make sure that the building that you're going to lease is okay to actually put what you want to put into it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because I thought that's interesting for people to know, like when they are leasing a space. Then obviously you had to move quite quickly into the other space. When that happened, did they just say to you, you can't use that space anymore? Or did they give you like a bit of grace until you found a new place?
It was pretty much as soon as possible. We still ended up actually having to pay for the end of lease, obviously, because that's what the agreement is when you go through the commercial space. Thankfully, though, we do have a lot of amazing friends that just helped us, like make it possible. So yeah, very thankful for that. But yeah, no, it was just go, get it done.
So how long did it take you from them saying like you can't use this building anymore to you have this salon up and running?
It was like maybe 3 weeks.
That is incredible.
It was yeah, insane.
Did you just have like a 3-day nap after that, or?
Yeah. Oh well, no, I had a business to run. I just
Oh
no,
my
that's
goodness.
why everyone just thought we were absolutely insane. But we had no other way. Like this, I made the jump. This was my income. I had to stick it out. So yeah.
And I think that's something that's so hard with business is just like you get thrown so many curved balls, and then you're just like, well, my only option is to figure it out. Like I don't have another choice. I'm just going to make it work.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So when you moved, is your location now far from where your first location was, or is it close?
It's actually like a 5 minute drive. We were very lucky in that sense because I think it is quite scary as a hairdresser when you say to your clients, look, I'm really sorry, I'm moving, and they go, oh, well, where? And you're scared that not going to follow or something. But yeah, I was fortunate enough for that. And it is quite a blessing where I am now because where I was at the start, it was out on a very big main road. And I thought I would actually get quite a lot of exposure, but I didn't really because it was so fast paced. Nobody would ever stop to look at it. Whereas now I'm actually on a corner of two main roads and I've got a set of traffic lights right in front. So I guess that's a tip for anyone as well. Location is absolutely everything.
Absolutely. I think that is such a powerful thing you just said there, because I don't think people always take that into account. And like you said, like being on a main road, you're like, oh, this is great because like lots of people want to see it. But like you said, if cars are just flying by, they don't even have time to look at what the signage says.
Yeah, I have so many clients that come in and go, oh, I just stop at the traffic lights all the time and I just look in and I go, oh, that looks interesting. And obviously, they're a bit curious. And then, you know, you've got the client. So it's great.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. It's almost like free marketing. I mean, it's not really free, but it's kind of like that in a way.
Yeah, honestly, I think like I said, location is everything. Like I really do, I try to be present on social media, but I still find it very challenging. So because I am in this space now, it really does, it makes a world of a difference.
Yeah, that's so awesome. So tell me about your business now. How is business going for you?
It is amazing. I love it. I love every day. I love coming to work. I love waking up for work. It's amazing. Like, I guess because of where I am and the exposure, I've been open for just over a year now, and I'm still probably getting like 2 to 3 inquiries a week. Yeah, which is great. When I first started 2025 this year, I actually was fully booked for the whole month of January. So my next bookings weren't till Feb.
So good, because January is like usually a bit of a quieter month. So that's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, I think definitely word of mouth is the biggest thing as well, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. And I think word of mouth is working because of like the unique experience that you're offering. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, yeah. So I guess from coming from larger companies for majority of my career, I was very used to pretty much working in between 3 to 4 clients at a time because you use your apprentices, you use your other team members to help, back up your work and everything like that. I found when I really stood back, people would complain to you in like from friends and things like that. Oh, I hate going to hairdresser. You get passed around to like 4 different people. So when I opened my business, that was I guess, what I created the foundation and what I wanted to make my niche. So I am a solo operator. I do I have a one client at a time rule, and that is completely for the purpose of a one-on-one experience, that real connection, the time factor as well. My clients love that they can get out like in and out of their service with great hair and still have the whole day or half the day, still takes time. But yeah, it's honestly worked out amazing for me. That's like I didn't realize how much of a difference it's made. Yeah.
And I truly think with the way the world's going and with everything that's happened, and especially since COVID and going forward, like a lot of people suffer with social anxiety now. And I think if you can offer that experience where it's like you can come into my space and it's just going to be you and I, there's not going to be anyone else here. You can actually properly sit back and relax and really enjoy the experience. Like that's such luxury and such comfort to someone who might not necessarily like being in a space where there's lots of people and lots of noise.
Definitely. Like I've had so much great feedback, people saying, I just feel so relaxed in here. I'm so calm. I've had the most amazing connections with my clients ever since doing this as well, because they can open up to me easier. They can, really, I don't know, just be comfortable. I've got so many clients that bring their newborns into me because they can do that instead of being like chaos absolutely around them. Yeah, it's nice. It's bringing back luxury, like, having that luxury experience in the hair salon. I feel like that can be lost when they're just trying to fit as many people in their seats as possible.
I completely agree with you. And I think there's definitely, like, not knocking anyone, but I think there is definitely a space for apprentices. And obviously, like, we want apprentices
Oh,
to learn and
definitely.
everything. But I think it's so interesting what you were saying before, because I've noticed that too. Like, I look on TikTok posts and things that people are like saying about hairdressing experience, because I'm just trying to learn what every single person is feeling about their hair experience and what they want and what they're not liking. And that is something that I see almost on every controversial hairdresser post is like, I'm so sick of being passed around. I'm so sick of booking in with someone and then someone else does 80% of my service. Like, it's something that people are really craving, that like almost one-on-one connection with their hairdresser and having that service with the person that they have booked in with.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, obviously, yeah, nothing against apprentices. Like, eventually down the track, I might still do that. But I'm just saying, for majority of the service, like those crucial parts, I definitely think it's meant to be that just, you stick with your hairdresser.
And especially when you're trying to create that luxury service too. I mean, it's difficult when someone's learning and then you go to the basin and you end up getting a shower because the person doesn't really know what they're doing yet. Like, it does take a little bit of that luxury away. And I think like what you're doing, going like, you are going to get this whole experience with me and everything's going to be done like to my level of perfection, is just something really special and unique to offer.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Like, I've had people fall asleep in my basis. So
I love that so much. What kind of services do you offer in your salon?
I definitely I love I'll do all services, but my love and specialties are blonding and extensions.
Love that. And what kind of extensions do you do?
Mostly weft and tape.
Love that. Love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think there's definitely a big demographic for that where you are as well.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like it's making a comeback too with extensions. Like, they definitely go through phases, but yeah, there's so much you can do with them for sure.
Oh, that's awesome. So obviously you've gone through quite a bit to reach your dream and have your dream salon. For anyone who's kind of looking to enter this space and enter this career, do you have any advice for someone who's kind of starting out?
I think the biggest thing is just don't be afraid to ask for support or for help. I think everyone thinks that once you go out on your own, you're actually on your own. Um, but it's not, I definitely wouldn't have been able to do any of this without the support of my fiance or even all of our friends. They really did believe, oh yeah, you've got this, like, we'll back you, we can do this. And I'll be honest, like, it took me a long time to put my ego aside and be like, oh, can I ask for this? Or are you sure I don't want to be a burden? There were so many times, even with my fiance, just being like, are you sure you can help me with this? I don't want to take away from your work or anything like that. It's just, but he, like, obviously, if they want to, they will. But I just think you don't know unless you try. And why would anyone want to be alone in this? I just think, the more support you can get, the better.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with that. I think, yeah, you don't really realize what it is until you're in the midst of it. And then you're just like, oh my gosh, like, help.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I would even say now, because I am a solo operator, it can get like lonely sometimes. But my biggest goal for this year is I'm trying to network more. Obviously, like, coming on the podcast, that was a big thing for me as well, because again, like, I even coming on here, that's support from you too. So I just think don't try to put yourself into this box. I think it's very important to speak out if you need help.
Definitely. I love that. And I will just say to everyone as well, I'll link your socials on everything and everywhere that I share this so that people can come and follow you and have a look at the work you're doing and your salon and everything, because I think people will be very inspired by what you've shared today.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot.
So I wanted to talk about, we were talking about this earlier, and you said when you sort of started, you really definitely had like some imposter syndrome of being like, oh my gosh, this is my dream, but I don't necessarily know if I can do that. What are some things that you did to overcome that?
I threw myself in, really.
Honestly, I think that's the right answer. I think that's what everyone does. They're just like, I don't know if I can do this, but I'm doing it.
100%. Like, I think you've even said on the podcast before, there's not a rule book to starting your own business, and you literally learn as you go. Like, I remember you saying that, and I go, oh my God, that's so true. And I wish someone did tell me that when I first opened, because I think that is the scariest thing, because you're like, how do I do it? Where do I start? But you've got to just put yourself out there and ask people, and yeah, just try to be a sponge, really. Like try to just gain as much information as possible.
I love that so much. And like, thank you for bringing up that quote as well. But I think it is so true. It's like you kind of get into like owning a salon and then you look at all these other salons around you and you're like, well, they've got it all together, even though they totally don't. But from like a social media point of view, it looks like they do. And you're like, well, if everyone else has it together, I need to have it together too. So I can't like let anyone know that I'm really like freaking out here and have no idea what's going on. But if you actually like, and this is why I love doing this, I think when you actually sit down and talk to like every single person who owns a salon, they're like, no, I had no idea what I was doing. I was terrified.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah, just try to absorb as much as you can. Like, my biggest thing was definitely trying to download as many like podcasts and things like yours. Yeah, you're one of the top ones that I found that actually like I've got a lot of information from. But yeah, and just try to you think you're going to know everything, but you really don't. Like as soon as I went out on my own, I enrolled myself in so much education just to further extend like my knowledge and especially from a business point of view, because that's all new when you first start. Yeah.
Absolutely. And also that like holding yourself accountable and being like, I need to go and learn these things. And then you go and learn them and you're like, oh, I can totally do that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You end up surprising yourself at how much you can pick up and learn.
Yeah, and I think that like meeting other small business owners, you realize like they're people too, where they're not robots. So you can do it. You can, like, absolutely.
And I think that's almost the thing, like you get this like feeling that like, I don't know if you ever had this. I definitely had it when I was like starting my own business, that like other business owners, they've got it all together and it's really intimidating and you don't want to like talk to them and be like, how embarrassing, I don't know what I'm doing. But then you talk to them and they're just like, yeah, everything goes wrong all the time. Like
Yes, 100%. Yeah. It's like comforting. It's
it
very
is. It's so comforting. And it is like literally what you said, just being like, we are all human. We all make mistakes. We're all learning. Like that's what this is all about.
Yeah, absolutely.
And do you have any other advice you would share about that space?
I would say burnout is real. Absolutely. I know you've actually said this before as well, is, try not to try not to say yes, set boundaries and all of that. But obviously I didn't. I just, was like, oh, sure, because I'm closed on Sundays and Mondays. Oh, you can't do any other day. No worries. I'll open a Monday for you. So, I think yes I know like you're trying to get your name out, you're trying to start your business, but also you're like you said, you're human. You need to look after you, because I was just like, everyone needs to, like, I need to service everyone needs to know my name, and that obviously just backfired on me quite a lot. So yeah, I would definitely say look after yourself and try not to worry about making you like yourself so well known so quickly. I think that was the biggest stress on me all the time. I'm just like, everyone needs to know now. Everyone needs to come in now. But if you want to be in business for the long term, it is a long game. So I think that was a definite eye opener for me in my first year, for sure.
I think that is like just such a pearl of wisdom what you just said right there, because I really think people don't understand like appreciating that journey to get to the point that you want to be at is just so powerful. And sometimes if you do get like busy and popular really quickly, it becomes very overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like even if you become successful and very popular, like even over a long period of time, when it suddenly starts happening and all of a sudden you are like fully booked and you can't fit people in, it's like, whoa, like how do I deal with this?
Yeah, definitely. I just think you've just got to really keep that in mind, that it's a long game. So yeah.
Definitely. So do you have any advice on like ways that you can kind of take care of yourself and avoid that burnout?
Well, since I'm, a sole trader, I run my business on my own. The best thing is you can really like make your day as busy as you want. Yes.
Yeah.
So, for example, I open 2 late nights a week, but if I know that I'm doing those late nights, I'm not going to book my first appointment very early the next day. I'm going to have a sleep in. So it's just that's kind of taken time for me. I never used to do that. But now that I have, I'm way more well rested. I definitely perform better for my clients. That's, yeah, that's been a huge game changer for me because, yeah, I would just usually just be like, yep, I'm just going to work late. Yep, no worries. 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock appointment next day, no problem. But yeah, it definitely catches up to you. Yeah.
And there's a lot of power in what you just said then as well, because I think that's something that's so underestimated. But like, you can jam as many clients in and be as busy as you want. But if you're always running at like 50% because you're exhausted, is that really success? Or if you are like starting a bit later and you're coming in fresh and feeling good and giving your clients everything, like that to me is a better experience and a more worthwhile experience than just being exhausted all the time.
100%. And like, yes, like I'll admit I did feel guilt when I was setting my boundaries, being like, I know I should sleep in, I'll be better. And then you're like, oh, like I feel bad for that though. But you really just got to set that aside and be like, no, I'm doing this for me because I'm going to be better for them.
I love that so much. I think that's something that we're all like learning in this industry is like sometimes if you can like, because we are all people pleasers and we're all very bad at saying no. But if you can shift that mindset to be like, even if it's just for your own sake, being like, I'm not actually doing this for me, I'm doing this so I can be better for them, somehow it makes it seem more okay.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So I know that you said in the beginning you did kind of bring some clients in on a Sunday or Monday, which I'm not judging at all because I was very, very guilty of doing that myself. How did you transition from doing that to being like, no, these are my hours, this is when you need to book?
I think I just realized if people really want to book in with you, they will work around you. I think, you do have to get out of that mindset of people pleasing and being like, oh, you think inside your head, they if they can't get in with me, they're going to go somewhere else. But they're not. They're really not. They're going to be like, oh, okay, that's all right. I'm just going to move my physio to that day instead. And you're like, oh, okay. Like, so yeah, if they really want to get in with you, they will. Like, and so like that whole guilt and everything like shouldn't exist because yeah, it was just such a mind-blowing experience when that started happening. I was like, okay, like I can do this. So yeah, I definitely think that's something to take away. Definitely.
And I think it's almost like a bit of self-doubt. You're just like, if I don't like bend over backwards for this person, they're not going to want to come to me anymore. And that's just so not the case at all.
No. Yeah.
And I think it is. It's like a little confidence boost when you do like start making the boundaries and you see like the world hasn't set on fire and the salon hasn't burnt to the ground and everyone still likes you and still wants to come visit you and you're still paying the bills. You're just like, oh, okay, like I can do this. It's okay.
Yeah. 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 And in return, you're going to be a much happier hairdresser.
To be honest, it is going to lead to more success. Like the happier you are, the more successful your business will be and the better everything's going to run.
Absolutely. Like even taking time off, like we took, I mean, not like this is a lot, but we took 4 days off over Christmas and that was a vacation for us. But even then, I came back to work and my mind was exploding with how much like ideas I had for this year and everything. It's just amazing the power of rest. And once you do that, how much creativity and all of this like just motivation just comes back to you and you're like, oh wow, like, I'm gonna, just change everything. So yeah, I don't know. That
No,
was amazing.
100%. I cannot agree with that more. I always had that in business. Like every single time I would go away, I would come back with 50 million ideas of how I was going to like change the business because you just come back feeling more motivated.
Yeah. I mean, at the start, you definitely still feel that guilt being like, oh, but then you realize, yeah, when you do get that motivation back, you're like, that was so worth it. I can't wait to do that again.
Absolutely. It actually is benefiting your business to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I think that is something that hairdressers are very bad at, like taking care of themselves. Like you said, the burnout thing, it's so real because we feel like we owe it to everyone, but we do actually like taking those breaks. It's important to still give to everyone to like give them the best version. So I love that you brought that up. And also, can we just have a little shout out for your fiance because he sounds like the most amazing, supportive fiance ever.
He's amazing. Yeah, he honestly, his biggest thing is just like he just wants to see me happy. So if I go, I want to do this because it's gonna make you happy, and I go, yep, so we're gonna do it. I just yeah, love him.
That's absolutely amazing. And I think, like, for anyone listening, like, if you're not in a relationship, obviously this doesn't apply to you. But I do think it is really important that if you are in a relationship, that you have that support from your partner and that backing.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
that's really
Yeah,
important.
it makes a world of a difference, honestly. Like even just your friendship circles as well, like that is crazy. Especially when you're going through life, your early 20s, mid 20s, like you do go through a lot of different friendship groups. And then when you start getting a little bit older, you realize, oh, actually, they're not really bringing me much, like I don't feel motivated. I don't feel empowered by this group of friends. It doesn't just have to be your partner. I think it's like whoever you surround yourself with is really going to change everything for you.
And that would be something that I'd be interested to know if it happened to you as well, because I know a lot of people, when they do kind of start going down this journey of like opening a business and becoming a business owner, they do lose a lot of friends because, like you said, a lot of those people kind of are like, we're not aligning anymore. And you find things less and less in common and the friendships kind of break away. And then you do find more people who are sort of in that area that are like starting businesses and entrepreneurs and have that kind of business mindset. Did you experience that?
100%. Yeah. It was actually quite heartbreaking, I'll be honest, to lose, a few friendships over it. I don't know if it's just because, you are trying to go this through life differently and, you have more drive and, they just maybe don't understand that whole shift but yeah, I definitely experienced that for sure.
I honestly think most people who take this path do, and I think it's important to talk about that because you don't like you think, oh, I'm opening a business and that's really scary, but really exciting, and I'm going down this new path and everything's going to be great. And then all of a sudden, there's all these things around you that start crumbling, and you're just like, oh, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the biggest thing is just you realize, well, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to just, sit there again, being alone, or are you going to surround yourself with people that have the same mindset and have, that drive? So that's when I started really like listening. I love podcasts. That's how I obviously found you. But, I listen to many, many podcasts to and from work all the time. And I think, when you listen to other business owners saying the exact same thing, you definitely don't feel as alone. But yeah, it's a real thing.
Definitely. Just off the top of your head, I know it's hard to like think of just off the top of your head, but can you think of any of the other podcasts that you listen to that the listeners might be interested in as well?
There's two girls on the Gold Coast that one is a fitness coach and one's a brow artist. And she runs like master classes and things. That's called Talk Toby to me. They're two sisters, Toby Twisted, because yeah, their surname's Toby. I actually reached out to them when I was going through this shift with friends, and I think I was at a loss a little bit then, and I said, "Have you experienced that?" And they said, "100%." Both have. It's just comes with it, I guess.
Very common experience.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think there was another hairdresser they were in the UK though, and she has a business podcast as well.
Oh, that's awesome. So when you started finding like your new friendship circle, did you start kind of finding people that were more in the business area?
Yeah, yeah. I didn't necessarily try to limit myself just to hairdressers or, like salon owners. I felt like if I could really open this up to taking a little bit from, each and every industry, I think that would help me as well because you don't realize until you actually really dive into it it doesn't matter what industry you're in, everyone has similar problems.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's very comforting to know, and also just how they navigate it. And yeah, that was amazing to really find out. So yeah, I definitely think that, again, try not to box yourself in, really just like get out there and yeah, see what you can find.
I think that's great advice because it's not necessarily just finding someone who's good at hairdressing. It's finding someone who has those same kind of drives and motivations that you do, because then you can have more of those conversations. And I think it leads to more problem solving and creative thinking. And it's just finding like-minded people.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So I just wanted to ask, on the flip side of this, if you have kind of come up with any problems within your business, as in like, I don't know if this has been a problem for you. I know this is a super common problem for a lot of hairdressers, like doing things like taxes or stuff like that. Or if you've kind of had any, I don't know, maybe like technical questions arise when it comes to like performing your services and everything like that. Do you have a community of people you can talk to in that can give you information for that kind of thing?
Well, luckily, my best friend's a hairdresser, so we, talk out quite a lot anyway. Because she, like herself, she's been in a, management position as well for many, many years. So I guess we kind of bounce ideas off there. But we, sometimes we, with our accountants, like because I definitely say hire an accountant. That's big.
Yeah.
I'm not good at any of that. So yeah, if I have any questions, we go to our accountant as well because they do a little bit of business mentoring too.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I think yeah, finding people like that would help definitely.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. And yeah, I think just touching back on that as well, because I know when I first opened my business, I was a sole trader as well. And I found that really hard not having like other people in the industry to talk to just about technical things. And I think it's great that your best friend is a hairdresser, because I think that's something that you really miss, just having that technical talk and like having someone who understands the language, which is so foreign to anyone who's not a hairdresser. I think it is important to find your people that you can still have those conversations with.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, actually saying that as well. So I'm partnered with L'Oreal. I use all L'Oreal color and products in salon. And when you are partnered with them, you get like 24/7 technical support and education as well.
Amazing. And I
Yeah.
also think it's worth mentioning, just to anyone who is at a point where they're looking at like opening a business as well. There's a lot of groups on like Facebook and stuff where you can go and talk formulas and things as well. I don't know if you've in any of those, but they're quite helpful as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I'm on a few on Facebook, but I think as well, just anywhere on social media, if you type in something to TikTok, something will come up. Yeah, so I think if you're ever stuck, just you'll find it. You really, really will. I think it's just you can't just shelter yourself.
I think that's how much the game has changed since you and I started. Like now,
Yeah,
the fact that education is so easy to find online, it's just everywhere and it's free and it's there ready to go, is amazing.
absolutely. Yeah, I can't imagine doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, like you said as well, like even for business as well, like just finding that community online really helps. There's so much information that is just readily available for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Well, like what you're doing as well.
Thank
Like,
you.
yeah, like I've spoken to a few of my hairdressing friends and I said, like, I follow this woman who started like this whole online platform, but it's just for hairdressers. And I do love that because yeah, if you don't have that friendship circle that you're not alone, you can really reach out to the community.
Definitely. And I think that's something like I'm very passionate about, breaking the stigma, because I think for a long time in the industry, people really thought like, oh, I can't talk to other hairdressers because it's like competitive and other hairdressers are bitchy and they don't want to have a relationship with you. And the more I do this and the more I speak to people, like that is just so not the case at all whatsoever. Like people want to meet other hairdressers and have these conversations and build these communities, which is really exciting.
Oh, absolutely. Like I think it's so important. Even when I opened my salon, I was trained in extensions, but I felt like I could like really open it up and learn more. So I did a 2-day masterclass with a woman who's become like she's kind of like you, like on the online platforms, does all the master classes in person and does the workshops and things. And even doing that, like you meet like people like that. And obviously, she was a world of knowledge as well. So I think definitely, yeah,
Education is
keep
so
it open.
important,
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
especially when you are on your own too. Like getting into those groups where you can connect with other people is really good.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to share with the listeners before we start to wrap up?
I don't think so. I think I just wanted to make it known that it can be scary, but you're not alone.
I
Yeah.
love that. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for sharing your story. I think this will be empowering for so many people, especially to hear. I know, and anybody who set up a salon knows how hard that is to do. Like just the initial setup before you even start trying to think about running a business, the initial setup, like when you're done, you're like, I never want to do that again. And the fact that you did have to do that again only a few months later, like you just have so much drive and determination. And I think that's such a credit to you. And I think that you are doing so well because you have a lot of passion and drive. So you should be really proud of yourself for what you've achieved.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot to me.
You're so welcome. And thank you for being a loyal listener. That means a lot. And thank you so much for coming and sharing your story today, because I know that a lot of listeners are going to get a lot out of this, especially people who are thinking about going down this route of opening their own business. I think this kind of information is just priceless because it, like you said, it doesn't really exist. So to be able to get this just makes the world a difference.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I've
Well,
loved it. So thank you for having me.
no, thank you so much for coming on today. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And like I said, guys, I will link all of your socials in the notes so that you guys can come and follow Courtney and see what she's doing.
Thanks, Jess.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode. I'm so grateful for Courtney for sharing her story and sharing her journey. I think we can all learn so much from her journey and her story in business. I think it's just really empowering and powerful to hear these stories from other business owners, to see that we've all kind of had a similar experience in one way or another, and we've all kind of gone through similar issues, but also to just hear how someone has like overcome those issues and just really thrived even though she's faced a lot of hard times. She's just kept pushing through and she got the business that she always wanted. She said she's living out her dream, which is just so incredible. So I'm so extra grateful to Courtney. I will link all of her socials in the notes so that you can go and find her and follow her and see what she's up to and what she's doing. And I hope that you got some really like inspiring information from today's episode and some things that you might even be able to implement in your own salons or your own business structure, and maybe something that gives you that little bit of inspiration if you've been thinking about stepping out and getting your own salon and doing your own business. Maybe this is just a little push that you needed to get you over the edge. Guys, if you haven't already, come join me on Instagram and TikTok. You can find me at Hair Babes and Business. I'm also obviously on Spotify and YouTube. Thank you so much for spending another Monday with me and tuning in and listening to the podcast. Your support means the absolute world to me, and I'm so grateful that what I'm doing is really helping you guys and you guys are really enjoying it. Thank you so much for being a part of the Hair Babes and Business community. It's such a pleasure to have everyone here, and to be working and collaborating on these things together is just so exciting. I feel like there's a real shift happening in the hair and beauty industry at the moment, and it's just really exciting to be a part of it. And I'm so glad that you guys are here on this journey with me. Guys, if you did enjoy today's episode, I'd absolutely love it if you could give it some love and give me a subscribe wherever you're watching or listening. And like I said, if you haven't already joined me on socials, please come join me there too, because I'm just loving building this community and working with you all. Thank you so much again for spending another Monday with me. I hope that you're having a lovely long weekend. I hope you're enjoying your public holiday today. And I look very forward to seeing you again next Monday. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.